The film begins with a high-speed chase on the highway. Some robbers are causing havoc, spraying gunshots at the chasing police officers and causing cars to crash. We then meet John Hancock, a down-and-out superhero, who prefers to spend his time drinking and sleeping. A little boy comes over, waking him up and showing him the TV reports of the crime downtown. Irritated, Hancock tells him to get away and the kid calls him an a-hole. Hancock then grabs a bottle and destroys the bench, taking off. He sends some birds to the afterlife, then flies over to the chase, crashing into a highway sign, wiping out half the police squad. He rips off the top of the bad guy's car and lands in the back seat, freaking the guys out. They begin to shoot at him, but the bullets have no effect. He forcefully stops the van, then flies it into the air, crashing into buildings and almost dropping the guys, before leaving them stuck on a building. Later, Hancock sits in a bar sketching, while the TV reports $9 million of damage done to the city. A fangirl comes over and wants to get to know him better, so he brings her back to his trailer where she wants a piece of the ebony Superman. Hancock, however, warns her that her life may be in danger, and rightly so, as he shoots straight through the roof. I think her life flashed before her eyes. The girl then asks to use the bathroom, then ditches him. We then meet Ray, a PR specialist and family man, who is presenting to a room of business executives about charity. Ray wants them to give away their next drug for free as a pledge to humanity. As expected, the men are not having it and he leaves disappointed. Later, Ray is stuck in traffic, not realizing that his car is on the train tracks. Spotting an incoming train, he tries to get out but is stuck. Hancock shows up and flips his car off the track and stops the train in its tracks using his body. The crowd of people are not happy though, and begin to attack him for not flying straight up with the car, and causing so much damage. Ray calms everyone down, telling them that at least his life is saved, and shakes Hancock's hand. Hancock then brings Ray home and meets his son Aaron, and his wife Mary, and gets invited to dinner. The family has meatballs and Hancock learns about Aaron's bully and gives him some advice. After dinner, Ray tells Hancock that he wants to help him out with his public image. Hancock is hesitant but takes Ray's card before blasting off. That night, Mary and Ray talk, with Mary being skeptical of Hancock, suggesting that Ray forget trying to help him, but Ray insists that he sees the good in Hancock. On the roof, Hancock overhears their conversation. The next day he wakes up drunk and staggers inside his house, where he sees Ray's card. Hancock lands in Ray's neighborhood, where one of the kids, Aaron's bully, calls him an a-hole. He warns the kid not to call him that, but the kid repeats it. Hancock then throws the kid in the air, catching him a few seconds later when Ray comes to get him. The two talk about Hancock's image, with Ray showing him YouTube videos of his failures. Ray wants to turn Hancock into a superhero. Mary and Aaron come home. Mary turns on the news, where there is a warrant out for Hancock's arrest, hoping Ray will change his mind seeing this. Ray, however, sees it as an opportunity and asks Hancock to turn himself in, telling him that people will miss him and want him back soon. Hancock then gives a public apology to the city on live TV, with people mocking and jeering him, but he continues. He is then brought to serve his time in prison and booked in. Hancock gets to prison and is immediately surrounded by inmates he put there. He tries to go on about his way, but two guys won't move, so Hancock puts one man's head where a head should not go. Later, Ray and Hancock talk about the case. Hancock learns that the DA wants him to spend 8 years in prison and he is not having it. He starts to break out, ripping off a door, but Ray stops him, telling him to trust the process and to trust him. In prison, Hancock attends group sessions but does not want to speak about himself. Ray also visits him and they work on his presence and how he goes about saving people. He also plays basketball a few times to the displeasure of the other inmates. One day Mary and Aaron visit Hancock, bringing him food. Mary tells him not to let Ray down and Aaron then gifts him his favorite dinosaur before they leave. Ray then designs and brings Hancock his new suit, but Hancock does not want to wear a suit. One day while playing basketball, the ball bounces out of the prison. Hancock jumps out to get it with the guards reporting a perimeter breach. Against everyone's thoughts, he jumps back into the prison. Another day at group therapy, Hancock finally reveals that he drinks, and everyone applauds him. One day, a guard comes and gets him, telling him that the chief of police needs his help, as there is a massive shootout downtown. Downtown, robbers have taken hostages inside a bank and are using high-powered rifles to hold the officers back, with one officer pinned down. Hancock pulls up in his new suit to everyone's surprise, this time with a soft landing, telling the officers around him good job. Hancock then makes his way through a hail of bullets, deflecting an explosive round. He gets to the female cop and asks for her permission to touch her body before bringing her to safety, using a police car to block the gunshots. The chief tells him to end things and he flies off. Hancock then begins to take out the robbers with lightning speed one by one, before coming face to face with the boss named Red. He shows Hancock that he has his finger on a bomb that is connected to all the hostages, and orders that Hancock break into the safe for him, calling him an a-hole. Hancock then uses a metal cylinder to take off the guy's hand. All the hostages are freed and Hancock hands the hand over to the chief. All the people watching begin to applaud him, much to Ray's enjoyment. Later, Ray and Mary take Hancock out to celebrate with dinner. Ray explains how he and Mary met, then asks Hancock about himself. Hancock explains that he woke up in a hospital 80 years ago with a fractured skull, and no memory of who he was before. While he talks, Mary looks very concerned. She even sheds a tear when Hancock tells his story but lies that she is drunk. After dinner, Hancock brings a drunk Ray to his room and heads back downstairs, where he and Mary have an awkward moment. She realizes that he has a bruise and tells him that he should leave. The two then begin to make out for a bit, before Mary grabs him and throws him through the house onto the street, warning him to keep his mouth shut. The next morning, Mary tells Ray that Hancock sneezed a hole in the wall, and says that she wants to go on a vacation. Hancock then shows up. Ray gets a phone call and Hancock grabs a fork and bends it against Mary's skin, before also smashing a rolling pin against her head. He wants to talk and tells Mary to show up at his place at 4. In prison, Red is gathering followers to attack Hancock and is planning a breakout. Mary then shows up at Hancock's place. He wants to know what they are and she tells him that people have called them gods, angels and now superheroes. She explains that they have been around for eons and tells him that she is his sister. Mary refuses to say any more, so Hancock says he will tell Ray everything and flies off with Mary after him. They crash in the middle of the city. Mary wants Hancock to leave, as he has destroyed her life before, and Hancock calls her crazy. Pissed, Mary uses a fire truck to slam him into the ground. Around them, the weather has gone crazy, with tornadoes and lightning appearing out of nowhere. The two battle, destroying buildings until they crash into the ground. From a destroyed building, Ray spots them both and stares in shock. Ray then comes home and Mary and Hancock come flying in. She explains to him that Hancock is her husband and they have been alive for millions of years. They are the only ones alive as the others have all paired up and died. Hancock then goes to the corner store to get a bottle of liquor and realizes the store is being robbed. He has a standoff with one guy and gets shot. This time though, Hancock bleeds and passes out. He is rushed to the hospital, where the doctors are able to inject his skin. Ray and Aaron see the news at home and rush over to the hospital. Mary comes by to look for him. The two talk and she explains that he is becoming mortal because he is too close to her. She shows him his previous scars from where they were attacked before in previous centuries. Suddenly, Red and his men attack and Mary is shot. Hancock gets her out into another room and sees that she is bleeding too. He then begins to take out the guys until he is stabbed in the back, and knocked around with a cylinder. He manages to get the guy off but Red comes in to finish the job. He shoots Hancock over and over until he is down bleeding out, with Mary also dying. As Red is about to take the final shot, Ray cuts off his other arm. Mary and Hancock are in a bad condition, seemingly unalive. Hancock opens his eyes and gathers his strength and stands. He sees Mary on the table and jumps out the hospital crashing into the street. As he jumps further and further away, Mary's pulse begins to return until he summons his power and flies off, with Mary opening her eyes. 1 month later, Ray, Mary and Aaron are walking together, when Ray gets a call from Hancock. Hancock then shows Ray that he wrote his charity company sign on the moon, giving him the best publicity ever, telling him that he will change the world. Hancock then flies off into the night with a smile. The last scene shows a robber being chased by the police. He takes a hostage until Hancock lands. The robber then calls him an a-hole. Good luck, dude. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, so you can watch more movies like this. Thanks for watching.